So I'm pleased to have received so many salutary comments on my recent work. Perhaps I shouldn't call it work. I should call it what it is: music. Pure and simple and unadulterated. And I hope riveting, flowing creations that reach people, and they come through me through no process I can recognize other than God, the cosmos. It's been that way since I was a child. And I can look back at my compositions of 5 years of age and 6 and 4 and 9, and they look simple and flourished and repetitive and, in my mind, banal. My teachers wanted me to become a concert pianist, and that was also the dream my father carried, since he went to Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York, and a little thing called World War II interrupted everything. Plus his father died on New Year's Eve, 1941, so he became an officer in the Navy and saw a lot of shit. But he came back to the greatest generation, and we had the best phonographs and then cassettes. We had music endlessly playing in the background of our home. And we would religiously go to the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion to hear the LA Philharmonic. That's where I met Zubin Mehta and started to meet a bunch of the Canucks that were coming down, Ron Turini and others. And, at one point I met a hermit who was not a composer, but an interpreter of music and pretty world famous. And, he told me some things that really made sense. He was quite the scholar on music and quite the pianist. Now, my father had a prodigious musical library with every composer you could think of, from Monteverdi to Scriabin. But his favorite composer was Mozart, and this guy didn't like Mozart. He loved Bach, and that was my favorite composer. My father found Bach too structured, too rigid, too complex, and it was probably an interpretive situation rather than a man who simply didn't understand the mathematical beauty of blasphemy, which is weird because he'd get the New York Times crossword puzzle and he'd have it done in 5 minutes. So, as I was saying, I've had some notable teachers, but this guy, and I'm not going to name his name, he taught me the approach of music. Now, I met a lot of people. As a family, we would make the usual pilgrimages to the homes of Schubert and Vivaldi and Beethoven, the Geburtstags of Mozart, so on and so forth. My father was teaching me to worship the singer, not the song. And I rejected these lessons after I met this pianist that understood me. And that's where I'm at. And that's why I don't do concerts. That's why I release things, because the recording studio is the temple, to me at least. And this is where I can refine things and edit things, and that's that. And literally, this person was playing Beethoven's fourth piano concerto at the age of 13. And so it rang me up when a friend of mine named Aspen brought up Beethoven's fourth recently, and that was that. So I remembered someone who taught me how to look at music, look at the piano as a contrapuntal instrument, and to bring forth voices that you wouldn't find with most pianists. And that defines pretty much why I'm a musical hermit. So when lesser mortals, and yeah, I sound arrogant, I am. When lesser mortals who don't play music go ahead and try to tell me that I'm not writing what I write, I'm not composing what I compose. There's a certain amount of humor involved in that, almost an absurdist bent. So, all I can say is it's pretty funny, and I'm going to keep on composing until I'm no longer among you. Thanks for listening, and once again, appreciate all the kind comments. Very nice.